Hey folks, welcome back. So in this video, I kind of wanted to go over the intuition behind where the partial sum formula for a geometric sequence came from. And so by the time you're watching this video, you probably already learned how to find any term within a geometric sequence given, the formula that we covered. So we have a sub n equals a sub 1 r to the n minus 1. So this is our geometric sequence formula. Right, and so this tells us that if we have a geometric sequence, right, we can find the nth term in this sequence by taking our initial term, our first term, and multiplying it by our common ratio to the n minus 1 power, so the term number minus 1 power. Okay, so then we have this really funky formula for the sum, or like the partial sum of these geometric terms. So we use this formula, let me just pull it up. We use this formula, S sub n equals a sub 1 times 1 minus r to the nth power all over 1 minus r, right? So where's that coming from? Do we have to memorize this? No, right? This is actually usually given to you in like some kind of reference sheet at the back of tests, so there's no need to memorize this, but I do want us to kind of understand like where is this coming from, right? Because we see a lot of these elements, we see actually all of these elements over here in our geometric sequence formula, but how do we get from here to here? And so we're going to show the proof or the derivation of this partial sum formula. So let me just label that. This is the partial sum formula. Right. And so let's actually figure this out. So if I'm actually just thinking about the partial sum in its just most basic definition, I'm just adding every single term in my geometric sequence until I get to the nth term in my geometric sequence, right? So I would be adding my first term, a sub 1, plus my second term, which I could derive by doing a sub 1 times r to the 2 minus 1, which is just 1, right? So this is a sub 1 to the r times r to the first power, right? And then my third power would be a sub 1 times r to the second power, right? Because this would be my third term, so 3 minus 1 as my exponent, which is just 2. And I would just keep going until I get to my nth term. So then I would write my nth term as a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. Okay, so that's not super helpful, right? Because when I'm asked to find the partial sum of like the 128th term in the sequence, this is not really going to help me get there any quicker than, just like doing it by brute force, right? So there needs to be a way for us to get from here to this formula that we can use that's really handy. Okay, so when I'm looking at this partial sum expression, right, I see something that I don't really like. I see that I still have an n minus 1 as my exponent for my final term. So I know to get rid of this, I need to multiply this by another of the base, right? Because if I multiply it by r, right, then this becomes r to the n minus 1 times r. So this is r to the n minus 1 times r. Okay, and so we know that we can just add the exponents of these same bases together, and so I would get r to the n minus 1 plus 1, and so I would just end up with r to the n, right, because these would cancel out. Right, so I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm actually just going to take this sum expression that I have, and I'm just going to multiply everything by r so that I can get rid of this n minus 1 exponent, because I don't really like that. I think it looks kind of clunky. So let me just erase this. And then let me multiply this entire equation by r so that I can get an equation where I don't have n minus 1 as my exponent. So this is r to the s sub n. And then this is equal to r times a sub 1 plus a sub 1 r to the 1 plus a sub 1 r to the 2 plus dot, 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 and then a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. Okay, so let's actually simplify this. So this is actually r times s sub n equals, this becomes a sub 1 r plus a sub 1 r squared, right? Because when I'm doing my distributive property, I get r times r to the first power, so r times r is r squared. Okay, and then a sub 1 r to the third power, right? So I'm noticing that all of these r's are just getting bumped up one exponent. So this is a sub 1 r to the nth power for my final term. Okay. This still doesn't look super helpful, right? Because all I've done is just multiply by r on both sides of this equation. Okay. Now I have these two equations over here, right? And what I'm going to do might seem kind of unconventional, but trust me, we can do this because we're doing the same thing on both sides of our equation, so we're maintaining equality, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take our first equation, and we're just going to subtract it with our second equation. So we're going to subtract the second equation from our first equation. Okay, so I have s sub n minus r s sub n, okay? Now, let me just clear out this middle row because it's kind of distracting us from the bigger picture. Let's compare these two expressions over here, okay? Because I think that there's a lot that we can actually knock out, right? So if I'm subtracting this top equation from this bottom equation, right, I see that these are not like terms, so this is why I wrote them out, right? A sub 1, I don't have a like term to just a sub 1, so I'm just going to keep a sub 1. So let me just highlight that. I'm keeping a sub 1. Okay. A sub 1 times r to the first power. Oh, I actually have that in my second equation right over here. So I know that these will actually cancel out. Okay. A sub 1 times r to the second power. I see that this actually cancels out. So I'm going to cross those out. Okay, and I'm assuming, right, that each one going on and on and on is going to cancel out. So this is going to cancel out, right? So a sub 1 r to the third power, right? These would cancel out. And what would be left would be these two terms, right? And I know that these two terms are left because I don't have an a sub 1 times r to the nth power in my first equation, and I don't have an a sub 1 in my bottom equation. So all I'm left with is a sub 1 minus a sub 1 r to the n power, right? This becomes a minus because I'm subtracting these two equations. Okay, great. Now, let me look at this equation because I think that this is going to give us something a little bit more helpful. On my left-hand side of this equation, I see that I have an s sub n in both of these terms, so I can actually factor that out. So let me just factor that out. So when I do that, I get s sub n times 1 minus r. Okay, great. Now, let me look at my right-hand side, right? Over here, I notice I actually have an a sub 1 that's common in both of these terms. So I'm going to factor out an a sub 1. So I get 1 minus r to the n. Okay. So I'm trying to isolate for s sub n, right? Because I'm trying to create an equation or a formula that I can use for s sub n or to find the partial sum, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to isolate my s sub n, and I'm going to divide out 1 minus r from both sides of my equation. So when I do that, right, I can actually cancel out this group. Okay, so when I do that, all I'm left with is s sub n equals everything on this right-hand side, right? A sub 1 times 1 minus r to the nth power over 1 minus r. That looks pretty similar to what we wanted originally, right? This looks like our partial sum formula. So we had to do a little bit of tricky maneuvering, right? But we were still within the properties of equality, so we know that we're still doing things that are legal. Right? So hopefully this clarified a few things about, where this formula is even coming from. Once you know where the formula is coming from, feel free to use it as freely as possible, or as freely as you like, right? But it's important to know, where these are coming from so that you're more informed about, why this really works. All right? Happy studying.